Okay, we are now on record. Go ahead, Patricia, please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summer webinar series of the Center of Research, Innovation, and Design. Also, welcome to our guest speaker, Creative Director, Mr. Francois Harik. Welcome, Francois. Francois Harik is a Lebanese creative director with more than 15 years of experience in the field of design, with a focus on motion graphics and broadcast design. He holds a bachelor's degree in graphic design from the American University of Beirut in Lebanon. Following his keen interest in new technologies and how they are shaping our interaction with people and objects around us, he pursued a master's degree in media design from the Haute École d'Art et de Design in Geneva, Switzerland. He also has a long experience in university teaching that extends to more than 15 years at the Holy Spirit University of Kaslik in Lebanon, where he shares his passion and transmits his knowledge to the new generation of graphic designers. In his presentation today, Mr. Halik will be discussing Arabtation, an idea realized after 17 years of experience in motion design and broadcast design in the Middle East. Before we start our presentation today, I would like to ask all the attendees, if you have any questions for our guest speaker, please write them in the Q&A box or send them privately to me. Francois, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patricia, for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Today, CRID gave me the opportunity to talk to you about Arabtation. And before starting, I would like to point out that I am doing a kind of an unconventional presentation using a video instead of slides. So it will be a compact intervention somehow, leaving the floor later on for more questions. And because I know and I'm aware that the Arabic script is always subject to debates. So we will start automatically. So as a creative director practicing in the Middle East and the Arabian Gulf, working with the Arabic language is not only a must, but for me and above all, a passion. So I guess you can understand my frustration when in the 21st century and in trailers of blockbuster movies, the Arabic language is still misrepresented and still is written like Latin as detached letters and from left to right. And the trailer of The Arrival, a science fiction movie that is supposed to put forth language as a means of communication between human beings and aliens, we see that the two main and basic rules of the Arabic language were not respected. It is unfortunate that cultural limitations have been plaguing the Arabic script all through history, and misrepresentations of the Arabic typography happen frequently within the design space in its different divisions. In fact, and according to Ibn Mukla's geometrical system of proportions that was created in the 10th century, Arabic letter forms are constructed based on a circular grid, but many attempts are always trying to fit them within the Latin EM square. It is a concept that Titus Nemeth calls Latinization, that forces on the Arabic script the characteristics of the Latin script without taking into consideration the grammatical and morphological differences that exist between the two writing systems. As a byproduct of all the cultural and political limitations, we are also faced with technological limitations that hinder the Arabic script from adapting to the different new media and from being more present with the rise of new technologies. Many scholars and designers have created projects to try to overcome those limitations. As an example, there is the unified Arabic font created by Nasri Khattar in 1947, with letters that don't need to attach to form words. Yes, it's clearly breaking the basic Arabic grammatical rules and also breaking the word unit that is very important in the Arabic language, but it somehow made it easier for people to learn and write Arabic. Another good example would be the Unicode standard that was created by Bigelow and Holmes in 1993, as it was commissioned by Microsoft actually. It was an attempt to simplify and normalize non-Latin scripts, including Arabic, to reach a harmony and visual unity with Latin scripts within one font called Lucida Sans. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we see Decotype's plugin Tasmim, created by Thomas Milo in 2006, that managed to utilize the new technology to correctly display Arabic calligraphy, respecting all norms and rules. And it allowed designers actually to manipulate each letter separately to achieve the desired calligraphic compositions that they wanted to design. Now, throughout my extensive experience of 17 years as a motion designer and my background in broadcast design in the Middle East and the Arabian Gulf region, I was interested and determined from my side to find a solution to animate the Arabic letter forms. On top of all the aforementioned limitations, many challenges are faced trying to animate the Arabic script, starting with its cursive nature and its letters that change form depending on their position within a word. Unfortunately, most of the existing animation tools out there are designed to be used exclusively with Latin script. For example, using the After Effects text presets with Arabic script results in broken Arabic letter forms and hence aesthetically poor and grammatically incorrect animations. That is why we are witnessing weak contemporary Arabic script animations, like in this very recent After Effects template 2018, where the Arabic letter forms are still broken and the animation is limited to really basic and simple movements. My research started by focusing on the Arabic letter forms themselves and the duality that exists between their verbal aspect and their shape aspect, and the morphing between those two aspects. Since at the level of the abstract shape, for me, the letter is free from all verbal and linguistic limitations. Another very important point of focus in my research also is the almost magnetic connection between the Arabic letter forms. A very important constraint if we want to achieve animations where letter forms do not break. The result of this research is Arabtation. It's a proposed Adobe After Effects plugin dedicated to animators in the fields of broadcast, advertising, and film that allows the creation of more sophisticated, creative, and elaborate Arabic script animations by overcoming the many obstacles and limitations we talked about, and while respecting the grammatical and morphological rules of the Arabic letter forms. The plugin is created based on a multidisciplinary approach, where the Arabic letter forms can borrow characteristics from several writing systems and from several design and art practices that could enhance their ability to animate. So it was inspired by the whirling dervish dance created by Jalaluddin Rumi and Shams al-Tabrizi in the 13th century. As you might all know, this dance is a form of meditation. It involves the spinning of the dervish's body in repetitive circles, emulating the orbiting of the planets around the sun. Based on the motion study of the dervish's movements, the spiral unit was conceived. and according to which the Arabic letters were constructed. The unit system, this unit system in specific, gave the Arabic letter forms the flexibility needed to animate, to morph into their different instances within a word, and to connect to each other to form words. The spiral unit system has 3 different typographic styles: whirl, unfurl, and gravitate. Tatwaf, tajalli, tajadhub. Those styles are closely related to various characteristics of the dervish dance. While whirl refers to the basic spiral movement of the dancer, unfurl hints to the dervish's skirts movements, and gravitate relates to the comparison of this dance to the movement of the planets around the sun. This plugin offers a first-of-a-kind solution that boosts the quality of the Arabic script animations, granting them a modern and contemporary image and edge. Its user-friendly interface based on easily manipulated sliders makes it highly customizable and allows the creation of a wide range of animations. You can see in the demo that sliders are manipulated to change several parameters, and as a result, modify and control spiral units, letters, and words. I mean, you can change the colors, edit the nature of the spirals, and even apply multiple effects and distortions. Here are some examples and experimentations I have created to exhibit the extensive radius of the animation options and possibilities we can apply to the Arabic text using this plugin. And at the end, to obtain very interesting results, very modern and creative animations, while still respecting the grammatical and morphological rules of the Arabic script. In those experimentations you see here, I combined the Arabic text using footage or still images, and I implemented that to specific contexts. I have also experimented with purely typographic animations to put forth the Arabic language, of course. Well, since some of the animations requires the use of both Arabic and Latin, and since the plugin can also be applied to Latin forms, I have also experimented and started combining the 2 languages in animations where both scripts are well represented using this plugin in their visual and grammatical aspects. Since the beginning of the project, I have been posting all the experimentations created with the After Effects plugin on an Instagram account. It was a way for me to keep track of the evolution of the project, to attract people's attention to what I'm developing, including the communities of both typographers and animators, to showcase to those animators the capabilities of this plugin, of course, and finally to raise awareness about the animation of the Arabic script in general. I invite you to check the Instagram account and the YouTube channel I have created on the following links. Now, moving forward with this project, one of the future steps would be actually to create several versions of the After Effects plugin based on different dance disciplines and body movement. So it will not stop here, it's moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Francois.
Thank you, Patricia.
It's a very interesting topic and a very interesting plugin, honestly. We have a comment from Dia. This would look amazing in VR. Do you have any comment on how this can be used in virtual reality?
Yes.
Because students are currently taking a course about virtual reality with Dr. George.
Yes, yes. Actually, as I said, this is the beginning. So the first step would be to create this plugin for After Effects, but then it will be also created for other software. And I'm planning to have it just apply it to software for gaming. So Unity, Unreal Engine, and this is where actually we can apply it later on to virtual reality and even to augmented reality. And this is my main focus for the future, of course.
That's perfect. I have a few questions in the sent to me privately that I would like to address. I'll start with the most common question. Which application can work with the plugin? You mentioned Adobe.
Yeah, I mentioned like I said, for now it will be Adobe After Effects, but later on it will go on in different software. So I'm planning. First step is After Effects, then I will go to Premiere, and then at the same time I will go to all 3D, or not all. I mean the most known 3D software like 3D Max and Cinema 4D, and of course then I will go into the gaming software like Unity and Unreal Engine. But for now, the plugin would work on After Effects.
So this also answers one of the questions. What type of animation can happen with the plugin? Do you have
What type of
animation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm now showing all the experimentations I have done. So it could be used only for purely typographic animations, just putting typography and just, animating it. Or it could also be combined with like I've already done with still images, with footage, to do, for example, some opening sequences, to do some, if you want, titling for promotions. It could also be used in films. And as I said, later on, it could be used as VR, AR, where you can see them really moving into 3D space, like virtual 3D space, if you want. So yeah, these are the possibilities so far.
So
Patricia,
Dia is also asking.
Yeah, I have a question, if possible. Sorry,
Yes.
Francois. Thank you for this interesting, presentation. I have a question just for you about. I felt like you linked the animation with the body motion, and the motion of the body, and then you specifically focused. You started probably and focused on the spiral. Can you elaborate more on that and the reason behind that?
Yeah, actually, well, I know that basically throughout history, the Arabic language is closely related to the Islamic religion. All right, and this is where I started to get interested in somehow this spiritual edge that the Arabic letters have. And this is, going from there, I went to the spirituality and the meditative state of the dervish dance. And from the dervish dance, when I studied the motion, the spiral, if you want, the spiral movement came in, and it was very obvious. And as we all know, that the spiral is very important also in the Islamic religion, because this is what links the earth to the heavens. So this is why I thought the interesting part for me would be to start with this, would be to actually go back to the really basic origins of this Arabic language and try to celebrate it. Yes, later on I'll move on to other body movement, but for me, starting with this was something really important, like I said, and it was something really going back to the origin and starting from there, and then building on top of it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And adding also to the last question we had, it will not only be, I mean, my future plans. I'm just I'm allowing myself to dream a bit. The future plans would be not only how do you say, constrained to software. I would also be interested in having the theatrical part of it. So since all the changes that we're doing are done with sliders and it's easily manipulated, then maybe later on will be performances done with that. I mean, maybe people dancing, people talking, and according to this, the animation, the forms, the way the Arabic typography will move will be governed by that. And this is something, you know, would be really interesting for me to tackle and to experiment with.
In this same topic, and yeah, is asking if there's a possibility to link music to the way the letters animate. So he's asking if by any possibility we can have the letters dance to the music.
Yes, yes, this will be achieved because as I'm developing the plugin, I will actually include in the coding source, if you want, some sort of an algorithm, some sort of an AI that would be able to analyze all of this and suggest to you ways to move your Arabic typography with the music, with the movement, with the dynamism of the video that you use. So yes, that's for sure. And this links also to the performances. So the performances will also be based on that. So music, dance. I can already see the movement of the dervish, for example, changing and giving colors to the life, also to those letters.
So
Francois
one more question.
Sorry, yeah, I have.
It's okay, George, go ahead. We have time.
I jump in when it's interesting, and I wanted to ask. So Francois, the plugin, is it open now, free for everyone to use, or how is it?
The plugin is not open yet. It's still at the stage of being programmed and developed.
Okay, so in beta mode, even not even.
Because, yeah, because apparently finding a programmer to do After Effects plugin is really specialized. So I really spent a lot of time trying to find the right person to do that. Okay. So now it's the stage of being developed. Unfortunately, it will not be distributed as free. There will be a free demo for sure. But later on, we will have some sort of a license-based plans for people to be able to use it. And so far, the plan has been studied in a way that everybody could have access to this plugin and could buy it. So it's not really something that you should pay like $10,000 to get it now. I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible because at the end of the day, my main goal is not to gain money out of it, but also to overpower the Arabic animator, because so far we can do lots of things with the Latin script, but not with the Arabic. We always find ourselves very constrained. Our hands are tight, and I don't want this anymore. I want to empower and overpower the Arabic animator to be able to do whatever they want with this plugin.
Thank you. So I have also one new question. Any reasons or specificities when it comes to picking the colors for the letters, like the red for Beirut, for example? So do you have any specific algorithms when it comes to the colors for every type of letter or regarding the meaning?
The colors are basically subjective. They're not objective, or they're not governed by anything. Because at the end of the day, this is the designer's decision to apply the colors needed. So for the just compositions, the purely typographic compositions, there's no reason behind it. But for the examples where you have a context, where you have footage, where you have images, it is actually the colors are based on the footage and on the images I'm using. Specifically for Beirut, it is red because I did this this animation actually as an homage to Beirut when we had the explosion last August. So this is why I chose specifically the red in that case. But it was purely subjective. So, but later on, I mean, as the plugin will develop, will be updated, you have the AI, yes, it will be able to suggest not only ways to animate your font, but also it could suggest like a scheme of colors that you might use with your video and your photos.
Also, I think, Francois, color can be interpreted differently depending on the culture and where you are in the world. So
Exactly.
maybe red might be perceived something that is, in a certain way, but maybe if you go to another place, it might be perceived actually the opposite. I mean, you could see
Exactly.
the color application from Asia to, to the US and all the spectrum that we go passing through the Middle East. So I
Exactly.
think that's a good answer in the sense that, it gives opportunity to whatever the colors that it is interpreted by a certain culture can be used. Yeah.
And actually, what is interesting in this plugin is that because it's based on a multidisciplinary approach, it's based on a unit system, it can also be applied, as I said in my presentation, to Latin, but specifically to Japanese and Chinese calligraphy that also have some problems, specifically when you type it on computers and everything. So this also would solve it. And yes, if I allow myself to dream again, I mean, the Asian market would be something very interesting for me to tackle. And this is where the AI would come in to learn from each culture and analyze the cultural differences, and then maybe be able to suggest colors and even motion according to those constraints.
Thank you. Francois, I really find it very interesting and heartwarming, if I can say, that you found a very personalized subject that is needed in our Arabic world, and you developed it. And you not just developed it, but you're trying to create a product that can be accessible to many people, in the aim of developing the Arabic calligraphy in animation. Do you have any advice for our upcoming designers, whatever their discipline was in design, architecture, interior design, animation, VC, anything, for them to pursue or to find this personalized concept and developing it?
Yes, yes, of course, of course.
And if you can also tell us about the struggles that that you encountered while developing such a personalized concept.
Yes, of course. At the beginning, let me start from the start. Actually, when you pick your major, if for example you choose to do engineering or to do graphic design, do architecture, make sure that it's something that you love, because at the end of the day you are building your future. So this is really important. Nobody will come at the end of the day and tell you, bravo, you did architecture. If you don't excel in it, you will never be able to work, you will never be able to be happy. So it would be something really, really sad to do this. For me, I did graphic design because I loved it. And for me, design, I never saw it as a job. I saw it mostly as a way of living, as something that I really like to do. And this is what I tell the students to think about. Even if you have to waste 1 year thinking about it before going into your major or your career, think about it really well and then try to do it. That is one. And another thing is that when you do, or when you realize projects that are basically more personalized, it becomes more interesting, because it's something that you try to talk to the world about. And this is something really interesting, because graphic design is a way or a tool to communicate with people. And not only graphic design, I see all majors and all occupations and all professions in this world are aimed to communicate something to the world. And when you do something personalized, it allows you to communicate with passion. And when you communicate with passion, people listen, and people are interested to see what you are doing. But also you have to be careful at the fact that you don't keep it personal to the end. You start with this passion, but then you will have to give it a sort of a package that would talk to everybody. And this is what I tried to do in this specific plugin. I started with something personal because I had to basically fight with that all through my 17 years. Every time I had an animation to do, I was always frustrated because I couldn't find the appropriate animations to do. I had to do it manually. It took lots of time. And when you work on a broadcast or a TV station, it is something really hard to find time. Always have to do something fast. And as we all know, design and animation specific always has to be fast. So this is why I said, no, I need a solution for that. And I was always frustrated by the fact that I can do so many things with Latin script, but not with Arabic. And I felt this weakness. And I said, no, it's not acceptable anymore. I want to be able to give myself and the Arabic animators in general this power to be able to, yes, I can do the same. And to be able to do, it's a plugin that is made for Arabic typography, but I can use it for Latin and not the other way around, which is happening today all the time. So that's my main struggle with that. Another struggle I faced was the fact that I developed and I'm developing this plugin in Switzerland. And nobody is really, I mean, yes, some people are understanding the efficiency and the importance of this plugin, but other people are, you know, still like, okay, because they don't know all the baggage that we have all
the history,
all the history that has been there, trying to fit this Arabic type into software, into squares that are made for Latin but not for Arabic. So it's time for us to just break this square and, you know, be empowered and voila, not to be ashamed of our culture, not be ashamed of our language. It's a beautiful language. It's a beautiful calligraphy. So let's celebrate it and let's try to create things that are personal to us and that will talk to the international community that what we do is beautiful. And it's not only limited to squares or rectangles. It is just, you know, free.
Thank you, Francois. Thank you for an amazing presentation. I hope this gave some hope to our designers that if you have an idea, you just work for it and keep on working for it, and you can actually achieve it. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the luck with the program, with the plugin.
Thank you, and thank you, George, of course, as well.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.